Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is the No Gluten Zone and my name is Diane and I'm so glad you joined me today. Today I want to talk to you about something called the Nemechek Protocol. I don't want to give away too many details because I think it's really important that you actually read the book. There's a lot of information going around on the internet and I was looking at that originally, but there's a lot of wrong information and misinformation too. So I really recommend, this is the book. It says fact number 1, miracles do happen. It's the Nemechek Protocol and it says for autism and developmental disorders, a how-to guide for restoring neurological function. And it's written by Dr. Patrick M. Nemechek and Jean R. Nemechek. So this is a really good thing. And how this relates, you know, I like to relate everything to food issues. I myself and my son have celiac disease, but there are a lot of other food issues too. And most of them, there's something going on with the gut, or the gut gets damaged. With celiac disease, our small intestine gets very damaged, and that can lead to SIBO, or what they call SIBO, and that stands for small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So what happens is bacteria is growing in the small intestine that should not be there, and it's causing a lot of problems. This book goes really in depth on those problems and how it's going to affect you and how you fix that, okay? So it's very simple. Honestly, like I've heard of so many other things that you can do and people are doing them and I'm like, oh, let me look into that, and in the past. And it's like really complicated and really hard, especially with children and if they're picky eaters and that kind of thing. It can just be so hard. So this, I was really shocked. I actually saw someone on Facebook talking about doing it with their kids and saying how easy it is, who wouldn't want to do it and who couldn't do it, you know, because it was so easy. And I was like, really? Like, let me look into this. And I was already looking into the SIBO. I do think I have it. My son probably has it. We both have celiac and I definitely have symptoms. So I started looking into it and then I found the Nemechek Protocol, and that's what we decided to try to see if we can heal ourselves. There's a lot more to it though, not just for food issues and not just for celiac disease. If your kid has, especially kids, if they have ADHD, if they have sensory issues, if they have autism, any of those kind of things, picky eaters, that kind of stuff, I really highly recommend that you do this. And it is truly so simple. I'm not going to go into specifics on dosages and that kind of thing, but I will share just a little bit because I really want you to read the book. It's a short book. Guys, look at that. And you don't even have to read like all of it. You can skip to, you know, I haven't finished it because I'm up to here. So I'm about halfway. And the rest is for like things that can happen as you're going through it. I haven't read that yet. I just read about how to get started, and we got started. And we haven't had any issues yet. So what you do, there's 3 things you have to add in to your diet. That is a high quality fish oil, and he names 2 brands that he trusts. I looked them both up on Vitacost, and I picked the one that was the better value for my dollar, is what I did, since they're both recommended as being good quality. And then you need Inulin, which is just a fiber that it feeds the good bacteria in your gut, especially the small intestine, but it starves off the bad, is what it does. And then you need olive oil, but it has to be a really good quality olive oil. He recommends it's from the COOC, which is the California Olive Oil Certification, I believe, and it has a seal on the bottle, so that way you know it is pure good quality olive oil, because there's a lot of fraudulent olive oil out there being sold. So that one you want to be really careful with too. So those are the 3 things you add in. It's very simple. The only change you have to make to your diet is what oils you use in your cooking and your eating and that kind of thing. You are restricted to just the good quality olive oil. You can have canola oil, and you can have coconut oil or palm kernel oil. Just those 4 oils are allowed. So for us, I normally used olive oil and sunflower oil in my cooking and baking and that kind of thing. And so the sunflower oil had to go. So I replaced it with the canola oil. And we do have coconut oil and palm oil in the house. We just don't use those very much. So we're mostly doing, we don't use a lot of oil, period. So if I'm baking, I use the canola oil. And then for cooking and that, I use the olive oil. And it's the good quality one. And that's really all we do. So for us, especially with celiac disease, we don't really eat out. If you're eating out and you're buying prepared food, you're going to need to be a little more cautious. But if you are making everything from scratch like we do, you have a lot more control and it's a lot easier to do. So the one thing that we buy that my son loves that he had to give up was potato chips. The potato chips we buy from Boulder were cooked in sunflower oil, which I normally had approved of, but it wasn't okay for this. So we did switch. Boulder also has them cooked in coconut oil. So we switched to that, and my son is happy. He just doesn't get the barbecue chips, but he dips them in barbecue sauce. And he's like, this is great. This is just as good. So he's happy. It was a really easy transition for us. I know that may not be the case for everyone. It may not be as easy, but it's definitely worth trying. I do want to point out it's not a quick fix. This is something you need to commit to and go the long haul to see results. And sometimes when you first start it, you will see more of what they call stemming in your children. You can see more stuff. I have seen that with my son. Hasn't been extreme though, but it did start like almost immediately. I saw an increase, but it's kind of leveled off. Some kids it levels off, some kids it stays increased for a while. It depends what's going on in them, internally. So just hang in there and stick with it. I know I talked to some people on Facebook in some groups, and someone said, yeah, we tried that and it didn't work. And I said, well, can I ask, did you do the oils the right way? They weren't eating the wrong oils and that. And she said, yes, we absolutely did it super strict. And I said, well, can I ask how long you did it for? And she said, yeah, we did it for 2 months. And that the book makes it very clear that you may not see results. Most likely you won't see results in 2 months. So it is something you need to commit to and try. But since it's so easy to do, why not? Just do it and see if you get good results. Just do it and just stick with it. How I actually do it is we did last summer, my husband, myself, and our son, we did nutritional deficiency tests. And I am planning to do a video on that because I think it was just amazing and it was so helpful. But we did that, and then looking into the things that we were deficient in, my son especially was deficient in a lot of amino acids, and that really concerned me because he's growing and developing and he needs those, especially at his age. So I was looking for what's high in these specific amino acids, and every single one, the one thing that was there that stood out to me was pumpkin seeds. So I went and bought raw unsalted pumpkin seeds, and I've been making a shake every morning. So for the shakes, I add, the base is usually apple juice, just because that's usually what we have in the house. I've tried it with just plain water, and my son prefers to have the flavor of some kind of juice or something, some kind of flavor to it. So I usually do apple juice. To that, I add the pumpkin seeds, and then for my son, I do a protein powder. I was doing the protein powder for myself, but I stopped because I am now on a protein restriction. I mentioned that in my last video, and if you follow me on Instagram, you know about it there too. I won't go into that on this video. And then I add usually lettuce. We do have MTHFR, so when we're increasing protein, we need to increase leafy greens as well. So I would just like to get more lettuce in there with that. And And then I add molasses because it does have minerals. It is healthy, and my son really likes the taste. And then I do the inulin, the fish oil, and the olive oil to that. And I just throw it in the blender in my Vitamix and blend it all up, and it's fabulous. I mean, it's not the best thing in the world, but it's not horrible either. And we've gotten used to it, and we just down it every morning. You can make the amount, you know, as little or as much as you want. When I make it smaller, it's a little on the thicker side. My son doesn't like it that thick. I don't really care. I just down it, but my son likes it a little on the thinner side, so I add a little more juice to thin it out. But it's that easy. You know, it just depends how you want to do it. That's how we are incorporating it into our diets. You just have to find something that works for you and stick with it. I know at certain ages, for really little kids, you just cook with the olive oil. You don't even have to add it to their diet, but then you still have to get the inulin and the fish oil down them. With the inulin, you want to start very small dose and work your way up. I know, especially for my son, it created a lot of gas. He was very gassy and was very uncomfortable at first. So I started him, well, at first I started him at 1/8 of a teaspoon, and it was causing problems. So I cut it back to like a 1/16 of a teaspoon, and we were doing okay. I gradually got it worked up to an 1/8 and now to a 1/4, and that is his dose. So we're good there. But yeah, just use caution with it and work it up very, very gradually. When you can give it to them and not see any gas or discomfort or anything, then you know you can still do a little more. I would start as small as you can and work your way up gradually. So I hope this is helpful. I hope you try it. If you have already tried the Nemechek Protocol, I would love to hear from you and know how you did with it. If you do try it, I definitely want to hear from you and see how you do on it. So I hope you have a great day. Bye guys, see you next time.